Right. Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. And I think I've got a problem with my camera. It may drop out. Anyway, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the ATV app, which is held every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. through VK3RTV. This evening, the stations I know we have watching, we've got Bob VK3BVR, Rob VK3IE, and Nick VK3BA. And there's I know we've got about 13 on YouTube at the moment, but I can't identify who they are just at this stage. Let me think now. What else was I going to say? I'm a bit flustered because of all the things that have gone wrong. The camera may drop out, but I'm sure the audio will stay up. RTV2 is going to go up first because Peter's running a little bit late. So I'll be putting it across to Ian very, very shortly. There goes my camera. So I'm not sure what's going on then. I actually have changed cameras, so it may well be the ATM. So I'll put it across to you, Ian, before I completely drop out. So take it away, Ian. I think Mick's coming in through you, and then back to me. So Ian, VK3QL, it's all yours.
Great, thanks for that, Neil. And yes, it's 196 nets, so that's all very good. Oh, I've got so many things going on here. Actually, I might just, something's distracting me there, so that's good. Things are happening tonight, not in a good way sometimes. All right, the first thing I thought I'd touch on is the QSO party. So this is the graphic that I think IE was involved with production. So that's the story there, and it's I actually caught a bit of Roland's ATN net on YouTube this week, and he was organising lots of things on his side, and of course we heard from Martin last week from the BATC side of things, and the QO100, so it's all progressing very nicely overseas, and there's been murmurs and indications from interstate and local, so it's all coming along nicely. Just on YouTube, while I'm thinking of it, Nick is there, as was mentioned, David VK2DJV, and there's 13 viewers at this point in time, 14 viewers, whatever. So that's all good. All right, back to me. I'm sitting a bit higher than normal. I'm actually trying to allow for lower third on the screen. So I'm just, because I'm actually going to introduce another graphic into the system, which I hope might be ready next week, perhaps not. A bit of coding, a lot of coding actually, so it's all good fun. All right, last week Rob, I've forgotten his new call sign. EHT was the call sign that's on EG. Thanks for that, Richard. Right, Delta Golf DG. Right, we'll get there. Thanks, Richard. All right, so that's the his call sign, and he put on the chat on YouTube that the receivers are well. This is the news from RGL Digital Television Repeater on Mount Anarchy. We haven't had an update for a while, so it's great that Robert was able to mention something on the chat. Receivers are working. Purchased the 2.4 gig power amplifier at 250 watts. Of course, that's the output requirement thing. He won't be. He'll be winding that back from the 250 watts, so that's not a problem. They've had access to the site. They've now got access to the site, which is great news, because I know that was a bit of something on the critical path that was causing a bit of concern, and it's always handy to get access to the site to install antennas and equipment for a repeater. They've got antennas, they're looking at antennas, and they have the LNA and for the receivers. So that's all very exciting. All right, the next thing I was going to cover, says he trying to read this from a distance, is the fifth episode in the series that Dave of BATC fame on the Portsdown, where he runs through the power meter functions of the Portsdown 4. So here is Dave.
The ham radio event at Friedrichshafen in Germany, held annually in June, is a renowned international trade fair focused on amateur radio. This year, one of the highlighted forums delved into digital amateur radio, DATV, showcasing various DATV systems such as Portsdown, Pluto and Node-RED. Dave G8GKQ presented on the testing capabilities of Portsdown 4 to the forum attendees. The following video is part of Dave's presentation on the Portsdown's capabilities.
Another thing it'll do is work as an analog to digital converter and display for the AD8318 power sensor, which is a cheap eBay power sensor, but does cover up to 7 or 8 gigs quite nicely. And it works along with a MCP3002 analog to digital converter. Connects to the Raspberry Pi by SPI into the GPIO pins. Very simple circuit. Power sensor module on the left. There's a couple of voltage regulators at the top there, and the MCP3002 connected to the Raspberry Pi. And this is what it looks like. Again, it's a meter with ballistics. It doesn't dance around all over the place, and it gives you a dBm and a milliwatt reading. There are selectable ranges. I use a lookup table to get the linearity, and you can enter calibration factors in. So if you know your if you test your source and your sensor, and you know it's 50% less sensitive at 7 gigs, you can put that in. You can also program in an attenuator. If you put in a 30 dB power attenuator in front of your sensor, you can program that in, and the meter will give you a direct reading of the power. But I must stress, this is an alignment tool for tweaking. It's not a tool for doing absolute measurements. You need an HP432 or something like that to do that.
Right, so thanks Dave for running through the functionality of the Portsdown 4, and in particular tonight the power meter function. Alright, I'll just touch on the ISS.
Have you tried the repeater in the sky recently? Let's have a look at the International Space Station passes for Melbourne over the next week.
And in Mandurah, effective. QSL 73. 3MQ. VK3NQ, I think it was, for VK6 Mike Juliet. VK6 Mike Juliet, good. Thanks,
Right, there's a bit of news as far as the ham TV functionality. This is a transmitter on the ISS which will be shortly installed. It's been delayed a bit with a bit of congestion, and Phil M0DNY is quoted as saying space is big, really big, but not when you're trying to cram equipment into a 25-year-old research station. So they're having a bit of issues with fitting in all the bits for ham TV, but it's hopeful in the next month or so that will be installed and tested. So now's the time to start seeing if you'll be able to receive it and setting up. Go to the BATC wiki, look up ham TV, and all will be revealed on some ideas on how to receive ham TV. Right, so the Bendigo, Ham Radio Fest, Radio Fest, 18 sleeps to go, coming up on the 18th, Sunday the 18th of August. You can even, I believe, catch a tram, the Goldmine tram, to the Radio Fest. I'm not sure if that's true, but it's a good line. I like it. All right. There's a few people following after me, so I'll keep moving. The next thing I thought, I've got an interesting quiz. DSP and analog filters are compared in one of the questions. The impact of dimensions of the elements of Yagi antennas, and lastly there's a question on liquid crystal displays. So I think it's a rather interesting range of quiz questions. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the quiz. I'm just looking at the YouTube channel. We have Clint is watching, Rob, VK3DG of the RGL digital TV repeater build fame, and Greg, VK3QSL, and Stephen, a VK3TTF, watching on RF as well. So yeah, so that's another RF watcher, which we love, the RF watchers within the range of the repeater. And of course, lastly, listed in the chat is VK3UK. Yeah. So thanks for coming up on the chat and saying hello. Good evening all. All right, the last thing I'll do before we cut over to Mick, VK3CH, is we'll just let Lucy say good night, and also just to mention Ray VK3ACR and Peter VK3TLF, who are recent additions to accessing the repeater, have been added to the what I call the roll call.
And g'day everybody. Alright, my VU meter isn't working because I'm being patched in via EM. So yes, all very bits of trickery. So we're not used to that, but yeah, everything is working. Alright, I don't have a lot, so I'll keep it short. I will just change over to this camera, and the reason, for those of you that do see me, I'm getting in on RTV1 better than RTV2, and that was never usually the case. We are, and that's with S, we are trying to finish our T system, and I just need to make this thing go. What I've got is this is a replacement sort of a digital power and voltage meter. Now, sorry about the fuzziness. My camera, I haven't worked out how to change the focus. But what you can see here is where the wiring goes in. Maybe if it's better if I lift it up closer. No, anyway. You get the idea. There's some screws here. Maybe if I put it further down, lower on the table. It's not much better either. Anyway, there's these 4 screws here, and one of them's fallen out, and we don't know what size they are, so we just simply bought a new one of these things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that when I can work out how to get the other one out, because I thought, well, I'll just put a little dab of JB Weld in it to hold it in there. So now I've got to sort of dig that out, but we'll work it out. I didn't use much. And what I'm hoping is the fault with my DVB-T transmitter lies in a bad connection with this, and everything else should be sorted. At the ATV meeting at Amateur Radio Victoria, when there was a collection there was some hard line that Nick brought, and also a bit of hard line that Peter gave me. We will use those to replace some of the thin. Do I have an example to show you? I think I showed you the other week. Here we go. Some of this thinner type stuff, which is notorious apparently for the little bits coming out of the end or loosening here, and just generally making life annoying. So I'm going to replace those with some hardline, and hopefully that should fix my problems. And we should be back on the repeater using T. So give me a few days for that. Certainly I want everything going by the ATV QSO party, but I do have a fallback through Ian with this system, and I'm looking at myself in high definition. So yes, it looks good. So something to aim for. All right, I'll drop off, and I think we're putting it over to RTV1. So cheers all, VK3CH Dom. To Neil. Okay.
Right, thanks Nick, and it's good to see you back up on the air, so to speak. Well, things are going wrong here. Okay, I neglected to mention that you can watch the repeater through VK3RTV, which is the preferred method. Also, Ian VK3QL's YouTube feed, and Richard VK3 VRS's Discord feed. As you can see, my colour balance seems all wrong too. My God, everything's going wrong. I'm using a different camera, but I think my wife, I think the HDMI switches are playing up. Now, during the week, I received one of these Chinese amplifiers that a lot of the guys have started using. So I thought I'd build one up, and that's what it looks like. I'll show you the photos in a minute. So that's my little effort. So I'll just show you the photos now. So this has been mentioned before, but I thought I'd bite the bullet and buy one of these things. They're about $80, and 0 dBm in or 1 milliwatt in will give you about 15 watts of carrier. Now apparently the K5 Triple I has been playing with these, and I think he said he was running about 4 watts DVB-T. So they run on 28 volts. And I'll just show you a few more pictures if I can work out where I am. Get my mouse to work. Of course it won't work now that I'm... There we go. So that's what it looks like. The front bit. And then that's the top bit. So you've got the amplifier there. You've got the up converter, which converts the 12 volts up to 28 volts. Although I'm running mine at 26 volts. Taking it to 28 doesn't seem to make much difference. And there's a control relay there, and just for the key line to key it up. So I think that's all the photos I've got. Yeah, so that's what the guys have been using. I know it's been mentioned before. They're available on AliExpress for about $80, and this may well be the go-to amplifier, considering that the Mitsubishi module hasn't been available for a long, long time. So it seems to work okay. So as I said, a few guys have been using it with some success, but I'm not recommending it personally. I'm just saying a few guys have been using it, and the reports have been very good. Okay then, if Peter's ready to go, I'm watching on RTV1 at the moment. So Peter, if you take it, then put it across to Richard, and then Richard put it across to Peter, VK3 TLF. And I'm not sure whether Mark's there or not, but if Mark's there, maybe he can go after Peter. So after Richard, I should say. So just waiting for Peter to come up. I don't see him up at the moment. So please, everyone, get ready to switch across to RTV1. And I still don't see Peter. So we're waiting for you, Peter. So I'm going to turn off, and there's Peter. So everyone switch across to RTV1 right now.
Yes, good evening everyone. I'm Peter, VK3BFG, and it's really good to have the guys on RTV2 on first for change. Why not? Maybe we can alternate. Seems like a fair thing. This week we've got a new splash screen that you could all see, and we had a little bit of an oops event for the first version of it, where our splash screen artist didn't quite understand what UTC is all about. He doesn't. He says he never works HF, so he's never sort of got his mind around those sorts of things. But anyway, I think we've got the splash screen right this morning. I nipped up there on the way to somewhere else and put in a modified version. So we've now got the times pretty right. As far as we're concerned, it's really 10 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock at night on August 31 for the DATV QSO party. So thanks to Dennis 3YLH, who does the splash screens. They're very good, and we've got quite a library of them now, so it's really good. And we change them every month, which just gives a little bit of a boost to the thing. So what's happening? I think people have noted that Peter 3TLF has been seen. Well, he hasn't been seen actually. I've seen his test pattern. Maybe has been seen by others. I'm not sure. But Peter lives on the other side of Mount Dandenong, similar to Phil Gardner, and he's coming in via knife edge diffraction, and he's an exemplar in my view of someone who has really tried very hard and worked very hard to use amateur radio as the means for getting into the repeater. And lots of awards to you, Pete. It's really a great effort, and you had some milestones, so you had some things to get over, and you probably still have. But anyway, it's great to see you up. Still tracing the intermod problem we've got. What happens is that the signal comes up and is received, and then as soon as the transmitter comes on, if the signal is a little bit on the weak side, it gets the no signal sign, which means there's an intermod product there somewhere. And I'm still chasing it. I'm gradually eliminating things that I can do, and certainly one of the factors is that we've got a different PA in the system as we had previously. It's a different model, so that's one of the variables there. But I did notice, and I had noticed previously actually, Phil and I sort of propped it up a bit, the connector that runs from the antenna into the filter is not looking all that great. It might even be there might even be a crack in it, because it's the coax comes out of the connector and it's bent down. So that very definitely could be a source of intermod. Very typically it is. I'm not saying that it is. I'm hoping that it is. So a new FSJ 450 connector, about 20 bucks for that, maybe 30. So we'll invest in that, and probably have to look at maybe there's a special tool to be used there. I'm not sure, but anyway, that connector is one of the variables. I've been doing some experiments with a combo receiver over here. It's one out of the box, that's for sure. Now, first thing is that every time you change channel, the receiver lens comes on. So I've had to put a delay circuit in the thing so it doesn't keep keying the repeater on or off if it were used. And then secondly, it seems to have some kind of a mongrel set in terms of its control. It does respond to the old combo handheld, but not all of the digits work. For example, 1 and 2 doesn't work. You should be able to press 1 and it comes up with channel 1, or you press 2 and it should come up with channel 2, but it doesn't. It does respond to the up-down keys, so I'm going to program those into it, and it'll just be used as a spare, but it's been a bit of a challenge, particularly when the darn receiver lead comes on every time you change the channel. It's not one of those things that we want. Also, yesterday I was able to go down to Jack Brevham's place, 3W, and Jack's claim to fame is, well, he was on TV for quite some time, and he probably still can be. He needs to sort of organise his shack a bit better, and then he could come back. But Jack, his main interest is in ARDF, and he's going to the US very shortly to participate in that activity, which is great. But he also has a very nice mill, so he's milled the heat spreader that I've got here, and I'll show you how the development so far, and there's also another factor here. So we're going to use the same camera, so pardon me, I'm not in a position to do the switching like most of the guys are. Probably if I got home a little bit earlier, I might have been able to do it. Anyway, look, stand by, we'll just have a look at what we've got here. Take the camera off the stand. Try and not pull the power lead over. Down here, I've actually got the old transmitter unit. It's not the same box as it's in, but it's actually the PCB down there. And yesterday, we had a bit of a bonanza yesterday. That came in the post. And that's the dual FET that goes in that amplifier. That's the first W6 PQL amplifier that we had, and it ran at Olinda for quite a long time, and then also at Mount View for quite some time as well. So that's the FET for that. So we've got that as an option, although it has to be facilitated, which is a bit of work. But down here we've got the pallet that we got from Roger, 5YYY, and you can see there that Jack has done some very nice milling for me, and there's some holes there that are necessary because there are some tracks and stuff underneath that needs to be insulated, or at least isolated, which we have done. So Jack's done a very, very nice job of that, and the pallet fits very nicely onto that heat spreader. So we have to change the input cap that Roger has provided for us. So that should be something to test in the next few days, I guess. And we'll see how that one runs. And here's the receiver up here that I mentioned previously, which is a bit of a horror really, but it's really just it's the last of the Mohicans. I've got 3 spare now. This is the 4th spare, so we should be pretty right in terms of any replacements that might be needed there with the combos. But yeah, it's got the time delay on it, which is it's just an entirely different piece of firmware in the thing. The printed circuit board and all that looks pretty much the same as what they all do. They varied over time, of course, but the firmware in that one is entirely different. So that's about all I've got for tonight. Obviously got some stuff to do in terms of just testing, and of course I can't just put an amplifier up like that. It has to be properly mounted, and there has to be sequences there, etc. One of the things I can do is, though, I do have a rack mount case that I've got from Amateur Radio Victoria, which has got a huge heatsink on it, and I could mount the original PA or this one on that, plus also the Mitsubishi module that drives it, and that would then make a lot of space in the back of the rack and make it fairly efficient. So that's all work in progress. But the intermod is of importance, so I think I'll order that FSJ 450 connector, and we'll see what happens. So I think it's now over to Richard. So Richard, you might start transmitting while I give everyone a little bit of seasick as I go over to switch over. So VK3VRS, 2 take it. This is VK3BFG and 1 Turner South.
Here we are. That was not a bad changeover. You must have been on S, Peter, so that was good. Everything's working. Yep, very good. I'm making sure that I'm not on marginal power like I was last week, dropping in and out a little bit. So I've upped my power. I can actually see my meters moved. I've got an interesting video for tonight. Not so much technical, more for people to have a look. It's not my footage. I'll give the credit in a minute. But first I'd just like to mention, just on Ian's YouTube stream, we have an international guest from India, Datta. I'm sorry if I've really pronounced that terribly, but yeah, he's listening. Victor Uniform 2 Delta Sierra India is his call sign. So hello and welcome to our net in Australia. Hopefully you're interested and you'll learn a little bit more, and maybe even be able to join in at some stage. We might be able to work out to have India come in on ATV as well, if you're a ATVer or you're familiar with ATVers. So maybe spread the word through India, and we'd love you guys to join us, considering you're about 4.5 hours behind us. So I believe it's around 4 in the afternoon at the moment for you guys. Anyway, enough of that for now, but welcome, very much so. Now, video that I've got, interesting one. You can see it's a bit of drone footage, and another amateur who's a very keen watcher, who I believe is watching, or who is going to be trying to be watching tonight. VK3NF, Steve has supplied this. This is actually drone footage of his setup, or his towers and antennas up at his block. So yeah, he said, please show this, and I've held it over from last week, so I've had it for a couple of weeks, but yeah, we had all the buzz of the meet and greet, so got that out of the way. And so now, Steve, this is a dedication to your property, and it's a fantastic drone footage of the antenna. So let's watch it and see how it goes. There's no audio, so there's no audio in the video, but as you'll see him flying around, there's no audio, so I'll just turn my TV on just to check. But yeah, it's quite a nice setup that he's got here. I'm not going to talk through the whole lot and bore you, because I've only watched it once, I'll be honest. But yeah, there's his tower. Maybe I should have got some music to add to it. But yeah, it's a great Nelly tower there. There's quite a few things attached to that Nelly tower. Steve does enjoy his HF. Frequency's a bit low for me, Steve, but I don't need that much hardware in the air just for a couple of... Yeah, it's quite impressive, the setup that he's got. You can see there's another tower in the background there, and there's wires everywhere. The poor bats, they probably get very confused when they go to land on something. Yeah, it's quite impressive when you see HF structures and how they stay in the air. I'm just not used to being a VHFer and above. And you might notice all those solar panels there. He often chats about how his solar panels set up. Maybe one day he'll do a whole video on that for us. Definitely should have put some music, some royalty-free music, so we didn't hit copyright infringements. I think I can hear the police helicopter outside. Yeah, lots of wire antennas there as well. And look at that view he's got. Lots and lots of trees. For as far as you can see, there's trees everywhere. So we sort of just about to hit the halfway mark. And look, there's sky. Very, very good, Steve. Testing these drone capabilities. A little bit of water as well. So just so everyone knows, this is completely unedited. This is just the raw footage that Steve VK3NF has supplied. And I know Steve likes enjoying as much time as he can up on the block. About to see his piloting skills coming through the trees. Now I know Clint SJ was very keen to see this footage. See, I'd be up on that hill up there on the left. And that's where I'd have my antennas set up. Being all microwave. So there's another tower. Watch it, here comes a tree. I must admit I've never flown a drone, so I can't comment on how easy or hard it is. I'm pretty sure there's a few out there that are watching this that have seen drones before, have flown them themselves. But it just amazes me the stability of these things and the clarity of the pictures. So Steve, you've got quite a compound going there. You can see there's a fire going. Very nice. I think it's great to be able to, with these drones, to get a bird's eye view of our antennas and structures. Now we're just coming into land, avoiding all the wire. And here we're coming in for a nice landing.
For live news on the planets, cosmology, sunspots and more, every Friday at 10 p.m. Clint VK3 CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast on this amateur television repeater, VK3 RTV Channel 1.
And there we are back. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. I'm pretty sure Clint did, because he was very keen to see it. So there you are, Clint. Maybe we can see yours again at some stage. Yeah, just a note on the technical person that's following me is Peter TLF. Without a doubt, when he's got it all sorted out and figured and got locked in on a perfect stable picture, I've known Peter for a long time, and we've rediscovered, each other after many years of not seeing or talking to each other, and found on ham radio and because of ATV in particular. So I've known Peter since before he was even driving cars, so it's a little while ago. But definite inspiration on how, if you're determined enough to accomplish something, i.e. get onto ATV, he's definitely the person to talk to about trials and tribulations and what you had to go through. But I'm sure he'll explain all that in detail when he's got a moment to put it all together. But for now, Peter, hopefully you're ready to rock and roll and transmit, and I will go to the good old-fashioned colour bars and test pattern, and then drop off, and then you can let's see if we can get you on, Peter. See if hopefully at this time of night it locks on without any problems. So yeah, without further ado, colour test pattern, and then it's off to you. Cheers everyone, bye for now.
Hello, can you hear me? Hopefully you can. Yep, looks like it's coming through on Discord, so I guess I'm working. Hello everyone, my name's Peter, VK3TLF. I'm just setting up. I only just got vMix set up last night, and this is all completely new to me. I've never done audio broadcast before, or video broadcasts, and I'll just turn my audio down a bit because it looks like it's a bit high. Yes, and thank you for the kind words from everyone and thank you all for all the help that everyone's given me through this process. I'll just go over it briefly because I'll go into a greater detail presentation later because as I said, I only just got up and running last night. Only just got the transmission stable last night. It's all just happened and just come together, so I only just managed to cobble together enough. I literally got the audio working on this transmission 10 minutes before I was ready to go to air, so it's all just come together in a big hurry. So my situation is I'm in the Emerald area on the back of Mount Dandenong. I've got the elevation here is about 230 metres, the elevation of the repeater is about 150-ish I think, and there's Mount Dandenong in the middle at about 260 metres right in my line of sight and right in my path, so I'm really pushing it uphill. I don't know how this is even working. Radio Mobile calculates my path loss at 180 dB. And I did a calculation on a knife extraction program, and that put it somewhere around 160 dB, which at least makes it viable, but it means I need to use a fair bit of power. I started out with keying up the repeater, then occasionally get a picture, and then somehow now I've got it locked on. But I'll just keep moving on. I'll go into more detail, as I said, at another time. I'll just go over to this one. This is some of the carnage along the way. Many of you have been quite familiar with these Lucent amplifiers. I've learnt the hard way a lot of things about this amplifier and how much they love to pop transistors like popcorn. I'm now blowing up 3 transistors on this unit. The first one out of over voltage, and the second 2 on because the bias circuit has gone crazy. I did actually reach out to Alan, who was modifying these amplifiers, and he said yes, when the transistor goes, it takes out the bias circuit practically every time. Just briefly on this, because I've been doing some research, and I'm going to do some more work on this amplifier and see if I can get it functional again and modify it. The circuitry in that red ring in the image is all the bias circuitry. So on the left hand side there's a 317 regulator. I measured the output at that at 5 volts. It goes into the buffer transistor in the middle, which then is supposed to drop it down to 0.7, but when I measured the voltage on this, it was 2.5 on the base of the transistor, so it was pushing it hard on. And you might notice there's a power diode soldered onto the base with an alligator clip. I just wanted to do an experiment to find out what the level of bias it was going to send into the unit once the bias circuitry's gone nuts. And it maxed out my switch mode power supply at 300 milliamps, trying to push that into the base of the transistor. So that bias circuit is toast, big time. I suspect it's actually the small 8-pin IC below that transistor in the middle of the red circle that's actually shot, and that's the bit that goes south. When the transistor had blown up, I measured 21 volts on the base of the transistor, so sending it all back through the bias circuit, and the output of the 317 even had 21 volts on it. So yeah, it would not surprise me if that little IC down the bottom has gone toasty. So, but I'll probably share if you're interested the results of my work on this anyway, to come up with some ideas on how we can modify these to be a bit more rugged, so that the bias circuits can't just go pop as soon as the transistor goes. So at least that way it's not something you have to keep replacing. Yeah, so I think that's all I was going to say on that right now. I'll just show you so yes, as people have mentioned, my path is pretty darn horrible. I've gone through various antennas, and I'll just show you what I'm on now. So this is my transmitting antenna that I'm using right at this moment. As you can see, it's gone through a few iterations. That would be PVC pipe as far as the arms going out to the feed, and that is a 1200 meg feed off one of his grid packs, and that's worked the best so far. I was using a log periodic multi-band antenna, but that wasn't the greatest, but this definitely works much better, and it's what's actually managed giving me the ability to actually lock onto the repeater and keep it open and hopefully give you a good signal. So that is a 2.4 metre Johnsra dish from Melbourne Satellites. They only cost literally new $260, so they're by far the cheapest way to get serious gain on this band. But with my pass loss being so big, and having done a lot of work with microwave antennas before, I wasn't even going to waste my time with co-phasing and all that sort of drama. I'd have to go with like a 8-way, 56 element Lupiagi array or something crazy like that. It was just so much easier to just get one of these massive dishes and just use that instead. I think I calculated about just over 27 dB of gain on that dish, so yeah, that seems to do the job. I don't even know whether the F over D is even close to being right, but look, I've got a signal up. I'm not complaining at all. So I'll leave you with the last little bit of video. Turn the audio off, don't need that. Just to show a bit of movement. This is a little gecko that we found in the garden on a, doing some work on our property, and it ran up my arm and over my back of my shirt, so just something different. Alright, well, that's all I have to say for today. And I'm not sure there's anyone behind me to come on the stream. If you are there, Mark, JMA, I'll pass the floor over to you. Thank you, everybody.
Right, thanks a lot, Claire. That was amazing. That was really, really good. So really, I'm sure you're really pleased with your efforts in getting to the repeater. If you need parts for the Lucents, especially the bi-circuits, I could probably help you out. I could probably drop some little bits that you want there just in the mail. Just work out which bits you want. In that bi-circuit, I'm sure I've got some spares. I could take them out of some of the US units I've got here and just drop it in the mail for you. Okay, that's about it for this evening. I think I sorted out my issue with the camera dropping out. My HDMI splitter was playing up, so I think I've solved that problem. So next week I'll be on the other camera, which doesn't have a horrible colour balance error, although I think last week I was very whitish, now I'm very pinkish. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you all next week. I don't think there's anyone else. So it's been a great net. We've got 17 watching on Ian's YouTube. I'm not sure about Rob VK3IE's BATC feed tonight. For some reason I couldn't get onto it. So see you all next week. Cheers.